Hey guys, Jimmy Dick here. Have you ever gotten home and think, man, what the pho is for dinner?
Jim!
Oh, I'm sorry. It's all about grammar. No, what I meant to say was, what the pho is for dinner? Let's look. Look at this. Now here's the thing about pho. This is a Vietnamese dish that's full of flavor and it takes all day to make. But it's worth it. Hey, welcome to Jimmy Dick's International Eats. So, the secret to a good pho is the broth. And I thought I'd show you the pretty green grass next door before I show you what's in the bowl. It's nothing gross, it's just a process. Okay, so I have beef bones that I bought. I trimmed off most of the meat, and they've been soaking in water for about an hour. And the reason for this is to get the blood out. The blood will make your broth foggy or dark, and you really want a good, clear, flavorful broth. And you don't want to eat blood anyway. So I've been soaking them. I'm going to drain those off, and we're going to go to the next step. The next step in our pho is to build some of the other flavors for our broth. So this is one shallot. I'm just going to cut it in half and put it cut side up on a baking sheet. 3 onions. Big old piece of ginger root. Again, I'm going to cut it in half. Don't peel it because there's so much flavor right here underneath that skin. Whole head of garlic. I'm going to cut off that end. There's just so much paper there. I'm still going to cut this mother dog in half. Here we go. Can't get rid of all the paper because it's holding it together. We got our onions, our garlic, our ginger, and our shallots. I'm going to put this under the broiler for about 5 minutes until it starts to get just a little bit charred. No oil. You don't want to put oil in here because that'll mess up your broth as well. I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. Alright, so we got a pot of boiling water. So I'm going to put these bones in here. Can't do too many at once, but because it will overflow. And we are going to cook these for the sole purpose of getting rid of impurities. So they're going to go for about 5 or 10 minutes, and we're going to get all the impurities out. Again, that's not nothing you want in you or in your broth. This is a very healthy dish. It's a very clean dish, and it's awesome. You can see all the scum coming to the top that we're going to remove. It's pretty gross. Is that something you want to eat? No. When I said it was clean eating, I meant it. I mean, look at that. That's nasty. That's looking good. And we're not cooking them. We're just getting out the impurities. These that I took out right there, I'm going to rinse them again. So as you can see, some things got charred more than others, like our garlic. So we're going to put that in here. I also put in 1 jalapeno that I seeded because you don't want the seeds floating around. And the bones that were done. This looks good. And you're not wanting to burn it. You're just wanting to get a little bit of a char, just like that. So this is going to be more layers of our sauce. And another thing you can do if you have a gas oven, which I'm going to do, is just hold this over the burner and char it that way. It doesn't take long. So that's pretty much all we need for right now to start the broth. So I'm just going to cover this in water. And you don't want to bring this to a boil, just so you know. What you want to do is a very small, very slow simmer with bubbles just coming up. If you bring it to a boil, you're going to have all kinds of trouble with your broth. It's going to get cloudy, it's going to get bitter, because there's a lot more going in here yet. This is not all of our ingredients. In Vietnam, they would sit up all night long because they would do this overnight. We're going to do it for about 6 hours. So this would probably be a good thing to do on a day off like myself today. It's my day off. So I'm going to continue to cover this with water, put it on a very slow simmer, and add more water as needed because you want to keep about the same amount in there. And this may look like it's going to make a whole lot, and it might. That's fine because it freezes really well. You can have pho broth in the freezer, and then the next time you want to make pho, there you go, you're already done. If you have it in the freezer, you won't have to repeat all of these steps. And like I said before many times, cooking is not hard. Sometimes some things just take longer than others. You've seen what I've done today. Nothing difficult. It's just going to take some time. So I hope you try this. So that's how you want to do it right there. There's always going to be a little bit of extra skin to get off. That's not a problem. But you can see how clear the broth still is. It has been about 2.5 hours. 3.5 to go. So it is about 2 hours and 15 minutes until this is ready. So we're going to add 1/3 cup of sugar. And for a pot this size, that's really not a lot. You can also use what the Vietnamese use, that's called rock sugar, but I really couldn't find any of that. I looked hard, but no luck there. And the thing is too, with the stew, it's all going to be strained. So all you're going to have left over is broth. Next, in my wee little skillet, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of whole cardamom seeds, pods, whatever you want to say. 1 teaspoon of whole cloves, because you know they're pretty strong. This is super important, I guess. Star anise. It's kind of licoricey, and I'm hoping that in something so big like that pot, it won't overpower. A cinnamon stick. A tablespoon of fennel. Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to toasting these little guys here, once you start to smell it, they're done. You don't want to burn them. All you want to do is heat them up, and it activates and releases some of the oil. That's all you want to do. If you start to smell it really strongly, you probably went too far. Don't let it sit. Turning the heat off. It was just that quick. So what am I going to do with these? You can put all of this, actually these 2 big old honking things, I'm just going to throw in. They're easy to get out. So with these, you can put them in like a tea ball infuser or cheesecloth. I have neither, so I'm going to put them in a coffee crown. You know what this is, a coffee filter. I'm going to have to put it in 2 because I can't get it to close. And I'm going to tie it off. Right there we go. Do your goodness. Because it's exactly 2 hours until it's done. It is time to remove all of this stuff. Fish sauce. Just about a tablespoon. And the same goes with rice vinegar. A tablespoon. These are pad thai noodles, like linguine, but they're rice noodles. We are going to soak it in just hot water out of the tap for about 20 to 25 minutes. Let's assemble this baby up. So in here we got our rice noodles, and to that, this is shaved raw beef. Super thin. You can use any kind of meat that you want, but that's what we're using for this. Then we're going to put in green onion, plenty of it, a few pieces of spinach, and this is basil, absolute must-have. just cherry off some basil into little pieces. And finally, just a few mushrooms. Okie dokie, here we go. So you know that meat was raw, but that's okay, because we are putting in this steaming hot broth, which of course is the key. And that meat is shaved so thin that you will never know it wasn't cooked prior to being put in there. There you have it, pho. I hope you try this and realize that it's worth every bit of the work. Now here's the first thing you want to do. Pho is piping hot. It's supposed to be. And because broth is the #1 thing in pho, you want to take your spoon and taste it. Oh yeah. And you get a big bunch of noodles.